Hi, today we're going to take a look at a brief history of the periodic table of elements and how we came to know the periodic table as we use it today. So, for a brief background, what is the periodic table of elements? Well, it's a concise catalog of all of the different atoms in the universe that we call elements. Elements in the periodic table are ordered by their increasing atomic number or the number of protons that are in their atom's nucleus. Elements are arranged by columns called groups that share similar properties. And the periodic table that we know, as we know it today, it started to take shape in the mid-19th century. So that's what we're going to take a look at next. Who really pioneered the periodic table as we know it was Dmitri Mendeleev. So who was this guy? He was born in the early 19th century in Siberia, Russia. He was one of 10 siblings, and his father was a professor. Thanks in part to the work of his mother, he was able to attend university at St. Petersburg, where he studied chemistry in the mid-1800s. At that time, there were about 60 elements known, and he spent most of his time really getting to know those elements and chemistry. So what was his impact, and why are we talking about him today? When studying chemistry, he, along with some other chemists, found that there were repeating patterns in various elements. At that time, they found that it repeated about every 7 elements. Today, we know it's about every 8 due to the noble gases, but they were working, like we said, with about 60 known elements at the time. Found that as atomic mass increases, the relationship was fuzzier. They weren't able to make the same connections. However, Mendeleev started to become obsessed with this idea of periodicity, or the repeating patterns that he was finding with elements. So the conclusion that he came to was that it wasn't an issue with the periodicity, chemists were missing elements. He started to develop a table where he left gaps for elements that he thought hadn't been discovered yet, but due to the rules that he was starting to see and work on, he believed that they should exist. He actually became so good at predicting elements that when scientists did discover some of the missing elements, he would argue with them about the properties and what they should be. And most of the time, he actually turned out to be right. So thanks to Mendeleev's work, we organized the periodic table of elements as we know it today in many of the same fashion that he was organizing it at the time. So when we think about the elements that we study, alkaline metals, alkaline earth metals, transition metals, halogens, these were the same rules and properties that Mendeleev was looking at. So what conclusion does this give us? Thanks to Mendeleev's obsessive interest in chemistry and the periodicity of elements, he was able to transform chemistry in a way that wasn't seen till date. And like we said, we still use many of the properties and principles that he established. It's important to note that science is always a work in progress, and as we learn more and develop more, we will change accordingly and implement any changes that come to light. However, thanks to Mendeleev, we have the periodic table of elements as we know it today and some of the same structure that he was able to first pioneer. Thank you.